Do complex legal issues hold you back? Let's get energized and bring clarity to your top legal questions. This is Law Talk with the Flock by Goosmann Law Firm.
Hello, I'm your host, Jeana Goosmann, a CEO, lawyer, author, and woman business owner, here to help navigate you through the law, your business, and life as a leader. And for today's episode, I am super excited to have with me Maggie Groteluschen. Maggie is a trust officer at the First National Bank of Sioux Falls, and today we're going to talk about banking and wealth management and their trust services. Welcome, Maggie.
Thank you very much, Jeana. I'm excited to be on the podcast.
So excited to have you on. And I know you and I both share the University of Nebraska in
Go
common.
Big Red. You got it.
Absolutely. And I think both of our company colors are red too. Awesome. Well, I'm thrilled to have you on. I know recently we've been working together more as I most recently just had some clients that put together an irrevocable trust, and we went and we interviewed 3 different trust firms and they selected you, and just are really excited to be working with you. And as am I. I think that you provide great service to your clients.
Yeah, we're really excited about the partnership with Goosmann too. We've gotten to know some of your Sioux Falls attorneys, but it was really great to work with you too, Jeana.
So, Maggie, can you tell everyone a little bit about what do you do?
Absolutely. So I work here at First National Bank. I'm at the bank first and foremost because it's part of our family business. So the bank has been independently owned for 135 years now by the Baker and Keene families. My maiden name was Baker, and so I'm the 5th generation to be involved with the business, which is big shoes to be a part of, but I just am honored to be part of that legacy. And so on the day-to-day, I manage our personal wealth team. So we are comprised of 24 professionals. We have quite a few attorneys on staff, as well as people with accounting backgrounds and financial planning backgrounds. And we are just working with people who want to have wealth management services in individual account capacity or through the trustee or kind of a conservatorship or estate relationship.
Outstanding. And what banking advice can you give individuals and business leaders? Because banking is such a big industry. And what would you tell those folks?
Absolutely. So I have 2 pieces of advice. The first one, here at First National, we really try to be a trusted partner for life's financial journey. And we mean that from, starting your first account to taking your first steps in buying a house, to potentially starting a business. I just think it's really important to find that person who's going to be that person that can walk alongside you through all those stages, and find a bank that can have those conversations where you can have a person you're sitting across the desk with, to get you from point A to point B to point C all along your life, all the way to your retirement, a potential liquidation event, sale or transition of a business, and then your legacy planning as well. So find that partner. And then my second piece of advice I have to say is, if you can find a community bank local. Your community banks are supporting your communities with their dollars and employing your neighbors and friends. And so we're just a big fan of kind of keeping it all in the community banking family.
Outstanding. And Maggie, how do you help individuals with wealth management? What does that mean?
Oh, wealth management, that is a big topic. So our world, wealth management, really began in the trust world. So First National Bank has had its trust powers for over 100 years. And in that trust world, we work with individuals, and we are helping them with investing funds or planning through trust documents. But then also wealth management encompasses things like retirement plans. So we are helping businesses if they want to create a retirement plan for their employees. And we're also helping institutions manage their wealth as well. So nonprofits, governments, municipalities, If they have some endowment funds or things like that, we are helping manage and administer accounts like that as well.
And you brought up trust services. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So, within personal trust, which is the main, amount of bodies, I guess, that would be on my team, um, we are working with both revocable and irrevocable types of trust relationships. The way that we partner, this is where we get really to partner with our attorney friends. We work with them as the attorneys draft the trust type of documents, and then we're the ones who administer those. So, um, trust documents can be part of an estate plan. So, if someone comes with a will and then they have legacy planning in mind, they might put together a trust document with their attorney, and then trust documents can come outside of an estate plan as well. There are other reasons, like potentially a special needs child or gifting to a future generation, things like that, where people are creating those trusts that are either revocable or irrevocable. So they can either be modified or they're kind of set in stone forever. And so we partner with the attorneys who are drafting those, and then it's up to the bank as trustee to continue to follow those instructions for the duration of that trust.
And Maggie, that's how we've gotten a chance to work together most. And in that area, South Dakota is such a leader in trust planning, and you are a South Dakota trust company. How could somebody that's not a resident in South Dakota still have a South Dakota
Yes,
trust?
so a trust creates a really unique relationship. The parties, there's usually a grantor, which is the person who's kind of authoring and then kind of placing property into the trust. The trust then becomes the owner of the property. So it's hard for people to conceptualize that sometimes, that it's not a person any longer owning this property, but it's the trust itself. And then if that trust document is written where it states in there, this will be governed by the laws of South Dakota, and then there is a South Dakota trustee involved, that's how they can get property from all over the country and all over the world to be placed into South Dakota, into a South Dakota trust to take advantage of our really unique and beneficial trust laws.
Outstanding. And so I'm excited that you touched upon that, because I think there are more people that park their money in South Dakota than any other state, if I know right.
Yeah, yeah, it's really taken off in the last couple of years. And it's been intentional. The governor has created a task force, and they're utilizing it as a way to expand the South Dakota workforce and creating really great jobs here in our state.
So, can you explain what is a fiduciary, and do you serve as a fiduciary?
Absolutely, that is a great question. It's a big, intimidating word that we throw around a lot, but fiduciary is definitely the capacity we operate in, whether we're acting as trustee or just simply an agent for investing funds. And a fiduciary is the highest legal standard that you can possibly have. So, as a fiduciary, we are legally obligated to place our clients' interests ahead of our own. So, that means that if we were questioned or push comes to shove, and we would have to prove to a judge at some point that we were following those instructions in the trust document and making decisions that are truly in the best interest of those clients involved.
And I think that's so important. And I know personally, I look to that designation and I hold it in high regard too, because it does have legal meaning and legal consequence behind it. Now, Maggie, what
Absolutely.
would you say for someone on how could they better manage their own personal wealth
Yes, that is a great
and
question.
do a better job with that?
Mhm. Um, you know, that's where I would say wealth can come to people in so many ways. You could be working your whole life in your business to build an empire. You could inherit wealth. You could win the lottery. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen that often, but anyway, not very many people, when you look at the grand scheme of things, earn their wealth by being a professional investor or a professional working in wealth management. And so when you're looking at your wealth, you have to become informed, and you have to find those professionals that you're going to partner with, and you have to plan. You have to plan, how are you going to grow this wealth, utilize it for yourself. What kind of legacy do you want to leave with it? And so we definitely just recommend people create that partnership team around them: CPAs, attorneys, a financial planner, trust wealth management, things like that, because it just is the thing that will sustain your livelihood and be your legacy. And so that planning becomes really important. And I would mention too, we have in our wealth management area, um, we are managing around, well, it's $4.5 billion of wealth within trust accounts that's closely held or privately owned businesses. So it's people building that wealth, and doing it within their own family and their own business capacity. And then there's $1.5 billion that we're managing that is liquid wealth. So it's just invested in the market. And so when you're looking at that, a lot of people will not understand that you can be a fiduciary and be investing for people in that regard versus just working with a broker, which would be somebody who is operating at a little bit of a lesser threshold. Brokers only have to follow the suitability standard, and so we take those investments and we are open to the entire market. So we're also able to work with you to do really intensive financial planning, distribution modeling, things like that, to make sure that your wealth is going to be there to get you through your retirement and to meet all the goals that you want to meet with it.
And Maggie, just as we wrap up, one more final question. Trust planning isn't just for the Warren Buffetts of the world, is it? It also comes into play when we talk about, somebody's grandma that owns the farm, and it's for real people,
Yes,
right?
that is so important for you to bring up. If you don't visit with your attorney and create a will and an estate plan, when you pass away, the state gets to decide what happens to your money. And I have friends that are my age that have reached out, and they're like, we don't really need to do this, do we? And they don't realize that they have accumulated assets, and it's like, well, you own your house, you're employed, so you have some 401ks, you have insurance policy on your life, and pretty soon, they're talking, they could have assets of $1 million even as a young couple, and you don't want somebody else to make those decisions for you, especially if you have children. And so those trust documents can become essential, because that's where you can lay out, this is who I want caring for my children every day. And then this is who I want making financial decisions for my children. And then these are the guidelines I want to put in place for those decisions, so that you understand what my intentions really are. And that's where those trusts become really relevant to younger people, not just the Warren Buffetts of the world. Like you said, the grandma that owns the farm, because real estate, closely held businesses, liquid assets, all those things can go into a trust, and then continue to be governed the way that grantor would want it to be governed after they pass.
And I just always remember to you sharing the story where you have a lot of little old ladies' mail that you open up for them.
We do. That gets to be the really personal side of personal trust business. Our generationally speaking, women tend to live longer than men, and women who are widows currently, maybe we're more homemakers than business women. And so we do have a lot of current clients whose husbands have passed away, and their husbands basically left them instructions that said, here's the binder. This was the lawyer that wrote it. You go to that lawyer, and then that lawyer will take you to the bank. And we're just able to hold their hands and take on everything. We make sure that they're insured. We make sure that their taxes are getting paid. We make sure that their bills are getting paid. Anything financial related, we operate like a power of attorney for them. The mail just gets changed to come straight to us, and they just don't have to worry about it, get stressed by it. And we're just really happy. Those are some of our favorite clients, because that's where you just feel like you're truly making a difference for them, and making somebody else's life easier and better.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much, Maggie, for sharing your insight with our listeners. And I want to encourage our listeners to go make it worth it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeana. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us for Law Talk with the Flock by Goosmann Law Firm. We hope you feel energized and ready to soar past your goals. Become a Flock fan and subscribe to our podcast for weekly episodes. Learn more at goosmannlaw.com.